And you might be thinking, sewing? You know, some people hear the word sewing and they think, oh, that's for stoic, older people. Not so. There are so many new upcoming young designers that before they even go into the world of design, they have to understand sewing and construction. And we are launching a brand name today, Janome, which I know that you're going to love because it represents quality. It is like the very finest quality equipment machine manufacturer in the industry. As a matter of fact, they produce and manufacture sewing machines for some of the largest branded names that you would recognize surely. What we're going to do is we're going to bring you 3 different options on machines today. One thing I want to start with is the heavy duty, which is really a classic and a basic in the Janome name. But before I do, I want to welcome and introduce our very special guest. Her name is Valora Hammond, and she is one of the educators that work for Janome, and she trains people how to do what you're about to see today. Hello, it's so nice to see you.
Thank
you for being our guest at HSN.
Thank you. I'm proud to represent the company.
I bet you are. So let's start off with the fact that this machine is really for the customer that's tuning in today, looking for a sewing machine, whether it be your first machine or you want to upgrade to a quality machine. It is called the heavy duty for a reason. And at $299, which, by the way, it is free shipping and on 4 flex payments for $74.75, it's going to be a machine that really our customer could depend on for everyday work, but really to be dependable as a quality machine.
Workhorse, a real workhorse.
Why? Tell me about Janome.
Why? Well, let me tell you about Janome, okay? Janome New Home has been around for over 150 years. And they not only were the innovators of many, many products that you know. For one, the round bobbin. They looked at the bobbin and said, how can we make a shuttle shape work better? So they created the round bobbin. The other ways they innovated the sewing industry is that they created the very first home embroidery machine. So it was the Janome that brought embroidery to the mass marketplace. Okay? Nobody ever thought they would do that. They also manufactured the very first computer programmable machine called the Memory 7. And so those were brand new to the marketplace. The other thing they did was in 1964, they created the first R&D for sewing machines, laboratory. So that's the only thing they do is sewing.
Well, let's get right into this now. With over 150 years experience, they know what they're doing. And the thing that I think is important for you to understand that, yeah, we know we offer a variety of different machines at HSN, and we offer a variety of brands. But this is really a transition for some customers, because if you have been sewing with a brand sewing machine all of your life, when you hear the Janome name, you know, okay, that's like the caddy of sewing machines. Most people recognize it for quality. They recognize it for their warranty, which you probably will never use. You also receive a hardcover case with your purchase of the heavy-duty machine, which is designed ergonomically to fit over it. Plus, you know what? It's not a basic machine in that is just going to sew. It's going to do the job you buy a machine to do, and that is to sew well. Now, you're going to demonstrate it. Let's get right into it. Explain.
You know, you talked about the warranty. There's a 25-year limited warranty on all of the Janome products.
Right.
So they do stand behind it. What I'm going to demonstrate here is I've got 4 layers of flannel, and then I'm going to be sewing over 4 more layers where the seam is. I'm actually creating 8 layers. And I'm creating a rag quilt, which is what the quilt on the front of the table is. And that's where they have the raw edge that blooms as you wash it. So it loves to be washed. Now, hear that? You can hardly hear it because it is so smooth. And yet there's that power. Okay, let's make sure it gets right up over that lump. Now, did you hear it hesitate?
No, it didn't.
It didn't, not at all.
You explained to me before the start of the show, too, that with Janome machines, they use a different method for how the machine grabs fabric.
Yes.
Which is really important for you to learn at home, because there are a lot of things that Janome builds into their machines that are hidden to the eye, but make the quality of your project when you're sewing not only sometimes better, but simpler and easier. So explain that to us,
Okay.
Valora.
Actually, this machine has a 3-point feed dog system, and the feed dogs are what pulls the fabric through the machine. And that's right down in here, and this is where all the power is, because if those feed dogs aren't pulling the fabric through, then you're not going to have a proper stitch made.
Okay, one more thing too, project after project, when you're doing the things like hemming trousers, when you want to be able to construct curtains, if you want to do some simple things around the house to start off, this is something that would really penetrate heavy fabrics. And you said they go through wool, you went through 8 layers of, what is that?
That's flannel. I've got 1, 2,
layers of flannel.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of, I bought a pair of jeans that I needed to cut off. So this is jean fabric, and I actually have one of the welt seams in this piece of fabric. So that's going to give 2 more layers. So this is going to end up 10 layers of fabric. Now, as I put it underneath there, it has an extra high lift so that I can get all that bulk underneath there. So once I get that bulk underneath there, I'm going to lower the foot, and I'm going to start sewing.
Okay.
And I'm sewing right over. It didn't even hesitate going over that,
How
did
about
it?
leather?
Yes.
So
with the proper leather foot, or the leather needle.
Okay.
Yep.
So no problem.
No problem.
Okay, now you're going to get additional presser feet with this machine. I just want to remind you, it is the original Janome HD1000 heavy-duty sewing machine. You're also going to receive, do you want to just go through the presser feet that are on this frame here? Because I'm looking at it backwards. So they're going to receive.
They're going to receive a buttonhole foot, so that the machine comes with a 4-step buttonholes. That means that you mark your buttonholes and you make it in 4 different steps as you turn the dial. Then it also comes with a zipper foot so that you can put in the zipper properly. Okay. Then it has a rolled hem foot, and that will create that roll that we like on the edges of scarves, chiffon, cottons. I've got, you know, little skirts with ruffles and curtains with ruffles where you use the rolled hem. And then a hemming guide, so that gives you a guide. It screws right onto the bed of the machine so that you can make even hems as you go. And
you've added to this bonus these extra bobbins.
Yes, they're cherry blossom bobbins.
Cherry blossom bobbins.
That was to help celebrate Janome's 90th birthday.
So it's 90 years as Janome, and then they merged 90 years ago with
New Home. When they merged in 1960 with New Home, which is 150
years of understanding. And you know, the reason why so many sewing machine companies go to Janome to have their machines manufactured by them is they walk into their factory, it's state of the art, right?
It really is. I was actually lucky enough to go to the factory this spring, and I actually saw these machines being made in our own factories. We make 100% of our entire line of machines, so we know the quality. The minute something is gone or is wrong, we stop, and we can have that control. We don't have to wait till we get the shipment of them in order to determine that.
You know, there have been sewists or sewers in our family. If you could share with a customer watching who's been using any other machine to date why they should try a Janome, what would that 1 or 2 or 3 reasons be?
We have the lowest repair rate for the tech people on the machines. That means that our machines are brought into the repair people the fewest amount in the industry.
Really?
Yes.
So Janome is one of the top manufacturers of sewing machines. And you mentioned that, and it would blow your mind, which we can't discuss on television, but who Janome manufactures for. It would absolutely intrigue you if you found out who they manufacture for. But for the avid sewer, for the tailor, for the seamstress, whether you are used to using a commercial machine or whatever, this is the heavy duty. Now, let's talk about this amperage, and let's talk about power.
Okay.
So
this has got a 1-amp motor.
Okay, which give our customer a frame of reference. What would they expect at this price point in America to spend for a machine with less amperage?
Oh, probably 0.5.
So half an amp.
Half of an amp.
And what does it equate to in features, benefits for the customer?
Canvas, leather, sailboat, outdoor fabric, anything you want, awning fabric. Anything you want to make, this machine will allow you to make it because of that amperage on that.
So this is why if you go out and you buy a pair of 13-ounce denim jeans And you know, my big mission in life is to stop bringing my jeans and my trousers to an alteration specialist who, by the way, went from $11 when I met her 16 years ago to now $15 to hem a pair of trousers. Let's do the math together. 3 pair of trousers, and you're already in for half of a flex payment.
Exactly.
So you can do your own trousers, do your family's, apparel, do alterations. A lot of people that have either lost or deciding to leave their job, want to take up a new vocation. What a brilliant way to do it. Take up, whether it be, you could go into alterations, you could go into costume design. A lot of people are going into wedding dress, not manufacturing, because that's not like a big... Custom designing, dress designing. If your daughter maybe has recently gone to school and she's studying fashion design, she needs to learn the basics. And this Janome name is a name that will take her through the rest of her life in quality.
Yeah.
She'll have this machine forever.
Forever. Yes. And she might actually upgrade someday, but she'll always have this machine because you don't ever get rid of your workhorse. Because when you take the machine to the repair shop, you've got to have a second one or you're going to have to clean house.
Right.
If you can't continue sewing, you've got to do housework. And we don't want that.
I don't want to use any scare tactics. That's not my job, but there are 150 of the Janome heavy-duty machines left for the day. This has been on, I think, was this on earlier or no?
No, not this one.
This is premiering now.
Premiering,
This could sell out in this presentation.
Yes, it could.
Here's what you need to do. Try it. Get it home, right?
Right.
Sew on it. For the avid seamstress, sewer, tailor, try it. Sit down with a heavy piece of upholstery material, leather, try it with some denim, just sew. You know what? Take a skirt and hem a skirt. See what you think. If you are not thrilled, not only with the 12-stitch function ability of this machine, which we've yet to even demonstrate, but if you're not thrilled with the quality of the machine, how easily it hums through the fabric, how simply it will finish your job and your project with ease, you can exchange or return it within 30 days. So let's talk about the 12-stitch function.
They're going to be your basic utility stitches.
Okay.
It is going to be your zigzag. It's going to be your 3-step zigzag. It's going to be your knit blind hem. It's going to be your woven blind hem. It's going to be your shell stitch, which is going to add a little scallop to it.
Yes.
It's going to, actually, there's a little decorative stitch here that's H. You could stitch it over ribbon. B is your stretch stitch, so that if you're sewing knits and you don't want that seam to always pop, you're going to use stitch B. C will be a zigzag, a triple stitch zigzag, which actually when it's done looks like rickrack. So that's really cool. We've got a little feather stitch that if you wanted to actually applique, you could actually stitch down both sides of it. And then we've got some seam finishes.
So in the middle of sewing, can you change the stitch options?
Yes.
In the middle of sewing?
Yes.
Why don't we do that? We're going to show you, as Valora is demonstrating, we're going to take you from one stitch to the next and show you the simplicity not only in changing the stitch function, yes.
And the needle threader.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's go through all of it. Needle threading, bobbins have never been simpler. We're going to go through all of that. We would love to hear from you. If you own a Janome machine, not obviously from HSN since they're premiering on television today, at HSN, but also this is the world launch of Janome at HSN. We've never given you the opportunity at these, again, the upscale world-class machines, 25-year limited warranty, 5 years on the motor. Is it 5 years on the motor, correct?
Yes.
5 years on the motor, 1 year on the on other parts of the machine. Explain the 25/5 1-year warranty.
The 25 is for manufacturer defect.
Okay.
So that would be anything like that. The 5-year is electronic. I mean, what do you have in your household that has a 5-year electronic warranty?
Nothing.
Nothing.
A toaster comes with a 90-day warranty.
Yes. And the 1 year is just the incidentals. I mean, it's not going to cover the bobbin case. It's not going to cover the needles, but it's going to cover just the main function of the machine.
Okay. So that's the 25/5 1-year warranty. And then as you're watching, you're going to see the different stitches changing from one to the other. And it's simple. You just dial it up and you're good to go. The other thing is can you change also the width of the stitch?
Yes, that's what I'm showing right here.
Look. So that's the zigzag or rickrack kind of stitch.
That's a zigzag, different widths, different densities.
Great.
How you can go in and change that.
And you did that in motion.
Yeah,
Some
I
machines
didn't even stop.
Some machines you've got to stop, lift the foot, change the stitch, and continue.
Yep.
Listen, these are made to last. These are made to be durable. If your daughter just graduated from high school, going into college, and maybe she's got like a degree in home economics, and she decided that she not only, maybe she wants to be a teacher. What a great tool to send her into college, a Janome machine. These are quality. We'll get this home to you on 4 flexible payments for $74.95 a month on your credit card. You don't have to worry about the shipping because we've worked it out with Janome to ship them to you free of shipping and handling. You do receive, again, the hard case, 4 presser feet, and also you get extra bobbins, and they're adorable because they're pink, and that's kind of like the signature for Janome for their bobbin set. Now, what about threading that needle while you're going?
Needle thread. While you're going, you can't thread a needle while you're going.
No,
you're
I mean
gonna
while
sew
you're going,
yourself.
while you're presenting is what
While
I
you're
meant.
presenting. It just comes down and you just loop it over,
Yeah.
and there's a little fisheye that comes in there.
Yeah, of course you cannot thread it while it's going because you couldn't catch that little
You
eye
couldn't
hole on
catch
the
that
needle.
little eye. Yep.
Slight little tidbit of information there. Don't try to
Yep,
thread it while
don't
it's
try
moving.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this stitch here, let me really pop that up so you can see it. It is like a stitched rick-rack.
Right.
And it really is a really nice heavy stitch. And just think how you could do that on a ready-to-wear. You could buy a blouse and do a few rows, especially in variegated thread, down the front, and all of a sudden you've got something that went from the rack to being custom.
I love
just
this.
a heartbeat.
Can I tell you, I love the profile of this machine, the footprint. Would you look at it? It's so, I use the word tight. If you look at this machine, that's a quality piece of equipment that's tight. It's easy to operate, as you can see. And there's even a storage compartment in the front, right? So
Yep.
you could store your extra needles and bobbins. And
A free arm.
So that's great for when you're tailoring like a pencil leg or a skinny pant or something.
This is great for the person who wants to go into apparel because it really has everything you need to do apparel. Because really, apparel is only a zigzag and a straight stitch.
Right.
So, and it will go through anything. If you want to sew ultra leather, ultra suede, pleather, even home deck. The purse you've got over there is home deck fabric.
Oh, look. And you
Yes.
made a comment before the show that because the presser feet from Janome are so inexpensive, you can build onto this and you can add pressure feet as you go.
Yes.
So really, you got the basics. You may as well put your money
Yes.
into a quality machine. It's a Janome.
And then as your technique and your experience changes, you can add to that.
All right, well, we're going to continue on. We've got a